Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about an appointment that I have coming up tomorrow actually, and I'm really nervous for, so let's get started.
And trying to remain so strong, I know it's good if I'm wrong. I got it, I gotta go, running to better times.
So the appointment that I have is a colonoscopy. So I'll put the description of what a colonoscopy is on screen, but basically it means that I'm going to have a camera up my arse and they are going to basically have a look at my intestines and see if there's anything abnormal there. So I've been having a few symptoms for a while and I just kind of need this test to kind of clarify whether there's anything like wrong in a way. Like they think it could be IBS, but at the same time there's a few symptoms that I have such as bleeding and things like that which are non-consistent with IBS. So they want to just double check that there's nothing sinister going on. But in order to attend that appointment tomorrow, it's a morning appointment and I have to do the preparation for it. So I've got the package that the hospital sent me. It's in this big white envelope. So it's got everything inside, it's got the instructions, and it's also got the bowel prep sachets. So inside I have this leaflet, a massive leaflet, and there's also a consent form at the back. So there's that consent form which I need to read and sign. There's two different leaflets. So there is an afternoon and morning. I've got a morning appointment, so I need to follow the morning. So let's start and have a look. It says, why do you need it? Well, I know I need it to clean out my bowels. So it says clear fluids. Remember, it's important you keep drinking until 2 hours before your colonoscopy. Okay, so basically just don't have anything to drink in the morning. I could have a sip of water maybe, and that's it. Clear fluids are non-cloudy or transparent. You can drink water, herbal tea, black tea, coffee with no milk, clear white soup, diluted cordials, not blackcurrant. Okay, so I could have orange then, and clear fruit juice without pulp, etc. Eating suggestions. Your healthcare professional may request you eat a low-fibre diet for 3 to 4 days to prepare for your bowel preparation. Well, I was not told anything about that. I was not told anything about like a low fibre thing. It is normal to get stomach cramps and diarrhoea during the preparation. We suggest the preparation should be kept in the fridge and should be sipped slowly over 30 to 60 minutes for effective results. So the day before my appointment, it says eat a light breakfast, does not contain high fibre, avoid nuts, seeded like bits and pieces. And then it says lunchtime, eat a low fibre lunch. And then at 3 it says stop all solid foods. So what time is it now? It's 11:20. So I can obviously eat until 3 o'clock. That's good, because I haven't actually had breakfast, so I kind of need to eat. But I thought I would quickly sort this out, read it for my own information, but also make a video about it. So there's 3 big packets in here. Let's have a look. So you have dose 1, which is this big packet. And it says, open the sachet, pour the contents of dose 1 into a large container that can hold at least 500 ml of fluid. Add water to make up the 500 ml. Stir until the powder is fully dissolved, and this may take several minutes. Refrigerate until needed later. Okay, so yeah, so this you have to, it says enter contents into container. So I've got a little jug thing that holds 750 ml, so I'll probably just do that. So at 6 PM I have to start the first dose, which is slowly sip the first dose, all 500 ml over the next 30 to 60 minutes. And then 9 PM dose 2. So it says open the carton and remove the dose 2 sachets A and B. Okay, and then it says no solid food and only clear fluids up to 2 hours before your colonoscopy. And then my appointment is at 9 AM on tomorrow morning. So I need to obviously plan my travel and try and get there. My appointment was actually a cancellation appointment, and I am very lucky to actually be on the cancellation list. So I'd highly recommend that if you're part of any sort of waiting list on the NHS, to basically ask them to put you on the cancellation list. That basically means you might get a phone call from your hospital or your doctor's surgery or wherever you're having any sort of procedure or test done. They would call you and you would get an appointment at short notice. So I actually got this appointment given to me last week. Usually, obviously, you'd get an appointment maybe 6 weeks in advance when they open up their calendar. So for someone like myself who always suffers with chronic pain, so I'm going to take you as much as I can with me, but I won't be able to take you any much in terms of into the actual appointment. So yeah, I will see you when I'm travelling to my appointment. Good morning, everyone. It is the morning of my colonoscopy. I am quite nervous, but I have everything packed. I read the consent form last night and I signed it, and then it said to pack some slippers and a dressing gown, so I have, and yeah, wish me luck. So I thought I would just take a minute to talk about my colonoscopy thoughts in terms of what happened and kind of how I felt. So it is nearly 2 weeks after my colonoscopy and I am feeling absolutely back to normal. I had a few symptoms sort of post procedure, but only for like the first sort of 48 hours. So for the actual procedure, I walked into the hospital, I checked in, I then was told to sit down and fill out some forms. For example, I think some of the forms, one was a COVID-19 form and the other one was about my symptoms and also about whether I'd taken the like laxative drink that they give you. And so I filled all of that out. I was then taken around to the nursing bit where they took my blood pressure, they did my pulse. They then got me to change into this gown and shorts. And basically it had some Velcro at the back, which obviously you did up when you're walking around. But then for the actual procedure, the doctor would open that up and then would be able to access your rectum. So I put these on and actually the shorts were very tight. I'm a larger lady, so therefore, yes, they were very tight and only just about fit actually. So I would actually like to see them being able to do like a larger size as well and like more stretch in it. So I got changed into these shorts and gown and then I was actually also given a like trolley thing. You know the thing when you go into like Poundland or any sort of shop and you can like either do a trolley that you push in front of you or you can get a basket on wheels. Well, this was a basket on wheels and basically I was able to put all my stuff in there and then roll that around basically, like wheel it all the way around until I actually got onto the gurney onto the bed. So then from there I was taken round to the COVID-19 testing bit of the appointment. So I was taken in and they did a lateral flow and they also did a PCR. My lateral flow came back negative, so I was able to go ahead with the appointment. The PCR, you don't get the results for about sort of 24, 48, maybe 72 hours. And so I didn't know the results of that. I had absolutely no symptoms though, so I was okay and I went ahead into my appointment. So they got me to get up onto the gurney, so I actually walked into the operating theatre space. It wasn't a full operating theatre, but it was close enough. It had a gurney in it, it had 2 different doctors in it, it had a nurse at the top end, and yeah, it was kind of a halfway between a hospital room and like a operating theatre. So they got me to lay down on my right side and that basically allowed the doctor to access my rectum. He got me to pull my knees up to my chest, so almost like in a fetal position. So there was 2 options in terms of pain relief for this particular procedure. You could either have gas and air and be awake, or you could be given a light sedation. In order to have the light sedation, you had to actually have someone to come and get you, like someone to, you know, pick you up. But I did originally have someone to pick me up, but then the person that was going to pick me up, she wasn't able to in the end, so I ended up having to have the gas and air. But actually I loved the gas and air. I understand why women love it in labour now, because I just was on cloud 9. I was like literally away with the fairies. So they gave me the gas and air and that was enough. I didn't need anything more. It was fine. Like it wasn't that painful. The only really painful bit was when they kind of went around the corner in my large intestine. And basically when we went around the corner, obviously because they're pushing like a camera around, like it kind of is a little bit weird of a feeling, and it kind of almost feels like it's stretching your rectum a little bit. Like it's not too painful. It's just it's a weird feeling that you can only really describe if you've had the procedure. So during the procedure they took I think 9 or 10 biopsies. They said that my bowel looked normal, but that sometimes the biopsies are taken because there can be some information that can't be seen via the human eye, so they can only see it under the microscope. So they decided to take the biopsy just to double check that everything was okay. But irregardless of what kind of comes back from these biopsies, I'm still getting the symptoms that I had sort of pre-colonoscopy. So I'm still going to be seen by a gastroenterologist and they're going to hopefully do some further investigation, because yeah, I can't live like this. There's obviously something wrong and I don't know, what's wrong, but there's obviously something there because my health is not as it should be. So after the procedure and after they'd taken the biopsies, obviously took the gas and air away from me, and I was like, I want that back, but no, it was all right. I then was wheeled on the gurney, so I didn't have to walk anymore. I was wheeled on the gurney round to the recovery space, and if you have a light sedation, you'll be kept there for half an hour, 60 minutes, depending on how long it takes you to come round from the sedation. But for me, I was only there for about 15 or 20 minutes. They double checked I was okay. They hooked me up to like the pulse thingy to make sure I was kind of recovering okay from the gas and air. And because the gas and air like only stays in your system for about 30 minutes, they basically said, well, after half an hour you can go home. So I was in the recovery space for about 15 to 20 minutes, as I said. In that time, they got me to get dressed back into my normal clothes. So after I got changed, they then walked me around to the like recovery, but like a lounge. So it had like loads of these like really comfy chairs actually. I would love one for my actual living room. But they took me around to this recovery lounge, and I think they called it a discharge lounge because that's where you're given a hot drink. If you want a hot drink, you can give it some squash or some water, and then you're given a selection of a biscuit. So I don't drink tea or coffee. Well, if I do, it's very rarely and it has to be a certain type. Like, I'm quite fussy, and usually it's an iced coffee with very little coffee in it. So I didn't have a coffee or a tea. I had a pack of biscuits, though. I think I chose like custard creams or something, and it came as like a pack of 3 biscuits. And yeah, I sat and ate those. I did have some squash with me, so I had that as well. And then once I was finished, the nurse took me into a side room, and she basically said that my bowel looked absolutely fine, but that the biopsies would be sent to my gastroenterologist, and then I would like get the results via that doctor. So then I was given my discharge summary. I was then sent home, and I got on with the rest of my day. I came back home, and I think I just edited some videos, and that was it. I felt absolutely fine. I had a little bit of stomach pain, and that's the only thing I would say that was sort of post colonoscopy. They said that's because when they put the camera in, they have to push like some gas in, like some air, to try and open up the large intestine. So she said basically once I had passed this gas that the doctor had to push in, then I'd be absolutely fine, and she was correct. But overall, the recovery was really easy. As I said, I got home, I passed some wind, and then I was absolutely fine. I didn't have any bleeding, although there are some potentials for complications such as bleeding and like cramping and things like that. I had a bit of cramping, but no bleeding. But I'm still awaiting the results, so depending on what the results say, I might make a video. But if it's still kind of in the pipeline as to what is wrong with my bowels, then I will probably leave that for a little bit and then make a whole video when I know what's up and what's wrong. But this was just the colonoscopy and my experience. So thank you for watching. If you've ever had any sort of medical procedure and you're watching this, and you know, especially if you've had a colonoscopy, I'd like to hear your experiences. If it's any other procedure, then you can comment the name of it down in the comment section down below. But thank you very, very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next one.
Nobody can make her feel down. She was always smiling from me.